It seems like a trend nowadays. The cat lovers community is growing every single day. And of course, as everyone knows, as shown by the scary high numbers of views that cat videos have on YouTube, it wouldn't be too hard to create big interest for a game where the protagonist is a cat. Even if you are like me, a dogs person. I'm sorry. And well, this is what they did. As I'm always craving for different and unique games, I couldn't lose this one. Hello, I'm Lucas Highland, and in this video I'll let you know if Stray is a worth it experience. Stray starts by showing a few of the mechanics while the story shows how you got lost from your pack, ending in a lost underground city that looks like a junkyard completely surrounded by walls, and with robots as its main inhabitants. Your goal is to find your way back home, while you meet with robot friends and create relationships with a few of them to help you in your journey, while you help them with their needs and goals too. And here's where the magic of this unique world starts. You are not traveling alone. You are, for a good portion of the game, traveling with a very friendly robot called B12, a flying drone who travels in your backpack. B12 is also considered a protagonist in this game, so all the limitations that makes a cat, well, a cat, like not being able to speak, hack into computers, and a bunch of other stuff, are excellently justified by being done by a lovely companion robot instead of pretending that cats will take programming classes in the future. But you would be mistaken if you think that just these two characters are unique and well developed. Although this world doesn't feel densely populated, it kinda makes sense with the rules they set to the environment. At the same time, they were able to make every NPC in the game to have a very distinguished look. It's easy to mention one of the characters in the game and have an image of them right in your mind. Even though they are robots that by our standards, when they are producing large scale, they often look identical. Also, the dialogues are almost equally unique. I said almost because although the dialogues are not boring and most of the times will respect the identity of the NPC, many of them repeat the same thing. This sometimes takes us out of the atmosphere of the game. Because of the lack of uniqueness on the dialogues of such visually different characters, it makes it feel kinda cheap or not natural. Talking about cheap or not natural, it is what I feel in every single game where the protagonists just don't speak, although there's no information in the game about the protagonist being mute. Like it happens in most of the Pokemon games, for example, such as in the Legends Arceus game. All the characters talk way too much with dialogues that are boring and just slows down the game way more than it should, while you very rarely say anything. But not here, because you are a cat. And guess what? Cats don't talk. So it's one of those cases where it makes sense for the character not to say a single word. But even then, the B12 robot is almost like the voice of the cat, because although the cat cannot speak, it understands every single word B12 translates from other robots. It seems reasonable for a cat in a future that far to be way more intelligent than they are nowadays. And without losing what makes them cats. I would say it's an evolution of the cats we know, and this is why it feels way more intelligent. And maybe Mother Nature decided that they wouldn't need a butthole in a future evolution because it doesn't have one. What, you can talk about the lions in the new Lion King movies that don't have balls, and I can't talk about the stray cat that doesn't have a butthole? It doesn't seem fair. Now, enough with buttholes. Let's talk about the amazing world this game goes on. This cyberpunk world feels unique and alive. Every street, building, and alley feels like it is there for a purpose, and they all add to the environment of this game. It's easy to navigate through places in games where most of the places just feel generic, but not in this one. It seems they paid attention to every detail they could. The ambience feel real. It's like you moved somewhere for the first time in real life, and after a few minutes you will get used to the streets and city layout. And although the ambience is coherent along the different parts of the world, every corner in this game feels unique. They found an excellent way to reuse game assets without looking repetitive. They even have a few things that are familiar to us but wouldn't make sense in a world with robots, such as a barbershop, for example. But if you pay them a visit, you will understand how they translated a barbershop very well in this world. Some ambience look weird, but most of the times familiar, and they fit very well inside the game. To explain a few of the events in this world, they created a very creepy and kinda disgusting creature who are able to eat any material. They're called Zergs, and oh boy, when they show up, things get sinister. And to complete this amazing world, Stray provides the player, the sound and music in this game are excellent, It makes us feel the atmosphere the game designers intended us to feel. All those things are awesome, but everything we discussed so far could make absolutely any visual entertainment awesome. But we are talking about a game, so let's talk about what matters in a game: the mechanics and the gameplay. The game is very well balanced between what a cat could be in the future and what a cat is now, giving you the freedom to follow the main storyline or just making things cats normally do, like rubbing yourself on others' legs, scratching walls, carpets, and trees. And the PlayStation 5 adaptive triggers makes it feel weirdly pleasing to do so. It kinda gives sense to why a cat would like to do so much. And I think I found myself doing that more than I should throughout the game. And also randomly knocking things down like bottles or ink cans from buildings, making a bloody mess. Which just shows how cats can evolve to the point they would understand speech, but still wouldn't stop their main mission: to test how well humans can stand their pureed state without kicking cats out of windows. But again, going back to the game, although you are a cat, you can't move completely free as a cat would be able to. You can only jump to the places predetermined by the game. And if you push the jump button when you are not close to one of those places, nothing will happen. There are even some obstacles in the game that you just can't jump over, but a real cat would do it very easily. I don't have a cat to prove my point, but I've seen lots of cat videos that shows I'm right. One of the strongest points is when you actually have to solve a few problems as if they were in the real world. No menus, no visual aid. Sometimes you have to solve puzzles just by asking people for information and looking for clues in the dialogues. This makes the dialogue boxes that are, for me, normally boring in other games, quite interesting, as if they were kind of treasure chests with possibly good information, where the rewards are clues and not items, upgrades, or things that we are used to get after grinding in a game. There's a perfect time management inside of what you do inside the game. No action will take longer than it should take. The path puzzles, the dialogues, the combats, the story cutscenes, the stealth challenges, all of them take exactly as long as they should. They apply perfectly the less is more rule. Not only this, but also the game length is perfect. It's not a $60 or $70 game, so you can't be mad to be able to beat the game's main storyline in under 5 or 6 hours. They knew exactly how long it would take to end the game without becoming boring. There are some parts that are very linear, such as the path puzzles, that have a very clever yet not overly obvious ways to show us the path, making us feel like genius sometimes. And who doesn't like to feel like that? And sometimes this linearity is not so noticeable, because the dialogue puzzles are not linear at all and they appear right when they should. There are some parts where you will need to be patient and some that you will need to hurry up and flee frenetically. And this also helps to spice the gameplay quite a bit. And when I'm talking about balance is, for example, when you get a weapon that's able to kill the Zergs, they find a very believable way to make them appear less frequently, which avoid the Zergs to stop feeling like a threat. So this is my verdict. Stray is an excellent game. Not the best for more hardcore or frenetic gamers, but a must play for anyone who enjoys a good, well-balanced game. With an interesting, yet not very complex story, filled with social critics, Easter eggs, and even some deep moral questions. And if you are in the cult of the cat lovers, this will be one of the best games ever for you. I found some of the animations sometimes clumsy and also some performance issues in the PS5 version, as well as a bug that didn't allow me to go far from a building, which forced me to restart the game if I wanted to continue playing. But none of these made the adventure of the cat finding its way back home any worse. So even if you are like me, a dogs person, Stray is worth the play. It even rhymed. So I recommend it. And do you know something else that I also recommend? Clicking in this red button written subscribe if you want to get more content about the video game world. And I promise you that if they make any games about dogs in the future that are as good as this one, I will be one of the first to make the review. I'm Lucas Highland, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.